The grand chamber of the Galactic Council shimmered with 1,000 stars reflected in polished crystal walls. The room floated silently in orbit around a dying star, its red glow casting long shadows over the assembled leaders. Here, the rulers of countless worlds gathered, towering insectoids with glistening exoskeletons, serpentine beings with hypnotic eyes, and ethereal creatures woven from light itself. Their presence demanded awe, power, and respect. Yet today, their attention was fixed on something laughable. A cluster of small, battered ships drifted quietly at the edge of the star system, barely noticeable compared to the massive warships dominating the Council's viewports. These were Earth's fleet, human vessels, humble in design, barely larger than shuttles, with patched hulls and minimal firepower. The Council members sneered in unison. What threat could such fragile crafts possibly pose? One hissed. Another chuckled. They'll be gone before we even raise our weapons. But inside the Odyssey, the flagship of the human fleet, a very different story unfolded. Commander Reyes stood alone on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the swirling stars ahead. The galaxy's laughter echoed in the back of her mind, but she did not flinch. Every captain here had once been underestimated. Humanity's history was forged from surviving impossible odds, from the ashes of dying Earth to the farthest reaches of space. And this moment, when the galaxy scoffed, was exactly when humans became most dangerous. Suddenly, the vast silence of the council chamber shattered. An encrypted transmission burst into the communications channel, cutting through the mocking voices like a blade. They're not what they seem. The message whispered in an alien tongue none recognized, yet all felt its urgency. The laughter froze. Murmurs rippled across the chamber like an electric current. Eyes turned toward the communication crystal, where the message repeated in looping code, a warning or a threat. No one knew. Back aboard the Odyssey, Reyes received the same transmission seconds later. She narrowed her eyes. This wasn't a random warning. It was a challenge, a spark that could ignite a war no one had anticipated. Prepare all decks, she ordered calmly, voice steady but resolute. The galaxy thinks we're weak. Let's show them the truth. Below deck, the crew moved with quiet precision. Engineers checked reactors, weapons officers ran diagnostics on energy pulse emitters, and pilots ran simulations in virtual combat zones. Despite the small size of their ships, every human knew their strength lay in something far greater: adaptability, cunning, and sheer determination. Meanwhile, in the council chamber, alien delegates exchanged uneasy glances. Rumors of human resilience had been whispered in dark corners for years, dismissed as myth or propaganda. But now, those whispers demanded attention. What secrets do they hide? A reptilian lord growled, eyes narrowing. We must not underestimate them again. Outside the council's crystal walls, the human fleet began to mobilize. Tiny lights flickered on their hulls, engines powering up, weapon systems humming to life. The odds were stacked against them. But the galaxy had never seen a human fleet fight like this before. As the dying star cast its final, flickering rays over the horizon, Commander Reyes looked out from the bridge once more. The galaxy scoffed, yes. But every great storm begins with a whisper, and the whisper of humanity's reckoning was about to roar across the stars, far beyond the glittering halls of the Galactic Council and the echo of mocking laughter. The true battle was unfolding in the cold darkness of space. The human squadron, a handful of small, sleek ships cloaked by shadows and cosmic dust, slipped through enemy patrols with breathtaking precision. Every move was a calculated risk, a dance on the edge of annihilation. Commander Reyes stood at the helm of the Odyssey, her gaze sharp and unwavering. Beside her, tactical officers monitored streams of data, each reading showing narrow margins of survival. The mission was clear but perilous: infiltrate the heart of the largest alien empire supply network and sabotage their warp gate, an ancient and vital piece of technology, enabling their rapid expansion across the galaxy. The warp gate floated ominously, a massive ring of dark metal pulsing with eerie blue energy, surrounded by patrol frigates and sensor drones. It was a fortress, seemingly impenetrable. Stealth mode engaged, Reyes ordered, voice low and tense. The squadron's ships powered down their energy signatures, slipping almost invisibly through the patrol nets. The air on the bridge was taut with silent tension. Even the hum of the ship seemed to quiet in respect for the deadly mission. Suddenly, the first alarm shattered the silence. A sensor drone had detected a faint anomaly, an unexplained blip on the edge of the patrol grid. Evasive maneuvers now, Rees commanded. The ships twisted through the void, weaving between asteroids and fragments of ancient debris. Alien destroyers scrambled, their massive silhouettes looming like hunters closing in on prey. Pulses of deadly plasma arced across the darkness, lighting up the battlefield in brief, fiery bursts. The humans were small, fast, and desperate. They darted through the firestorm like ghosts, each second a gamble between discovery and destruction. Target in range, the weapons officer announced. From the Odyssey, a precision strike was launched, microscopic drones swarming the warp gate's core. The alien defenses faltered as these tiny invaders burrowed into critical systems, triggering cascading failures. The warp gate shuddered violently, its blue glow flickering erratically. "Get out now," Reyes barked. As the squadron pulled away, alarms blared on the enemy ships. The gate exploded in a shower of sparks and fire, sending shockwaves rippling through space. But the victory was bittersweet. The alien armada unleashed a relentless pursuit. The chase stretched across the stars, an endless cat-and-mouse game at the edge of annihilation. Inside the Odyssey, tension peaked. How are they moving so fast? The tactical officer fretted. They shouldn't be able to keep up. That's what worries me, Reyes said grimly. They're adapting, learning. Back on the alien flagship, panic rippled through the command crew. The destruction of the warp gate had thrown their plans into chaos, and the humans' unpredictable tactics had shattered their confidence. Who are these creatures? The alien admiral demanded. They move like shadows, strike like lightning. They will not be stopped by force alone. In the dark recesses of space, away from the glare of battle, a whispered rumor spread among the lesser alien races. Stories of humans wielding strange new technologies, capable of bending the rules of physics itself. Humans are not what they seem, a rebel leader murmured in a hidden channel. They bring a reckoning the galaxy has never faced. As the alien fleets regrouped, the human squadron disappeared into the cosmic dust, battered but alive, their mission a spark igniting the flames of an unstoppable revolution. Commander Reyes leaned back, the weight of what had just occurred settling heavily on her shoulders. "This is only the beginning," she whispered. "The galaxy will learn to fear the small ships." The silence of space shattered like glass. A thunderous roar echoed through the void as the alien armada surged forward. Massive warships, bristling with weapons, their hulls gleaming like polished obsidian. They moved with terrifying precision, intent on crushing the human flotilla once and for all. Commander Reyes gripped the edge of the Odyssey's command console. Her eyes burned with fierce determination. Hold formation. Prepare for battle. The tiny human fleet was dwarfed by the overwhelming firepower arrayed against them. Alien dreadnoughts unleashed torrents of plasma, laser barrages tore through the darkness, and missile volleys streaked like deadly comets. The human ships darted and weaved, too small to be caught easily but too few to withstand a prolonged assault. Shields holding at 50%. The engineer reported, sweat beading on his brow. "We won't last long at this rate." Rey's voice was calm, but urgent. "Use every advantage. Hit and run. Disrupt their targeting." The humans' greatest weapon was not their firepower. It was their unpredictability. Their ships were built for agility, able to outmaneuver the slow, lumbering giants they faced. But even more than that, it was their ingenuity and sheer willpower that made them dangerous. A rookie pilot, Lieutenant Vega, blazed through the chaos aboard her scout ship, the Falcon. She was young, reckless, and fiercely determined to prove herself. As plasma bolts zipped past, she locked onto a massive alien dreadnought, the flagship of the Armada. "Target acquired," Vega whispered, "firing now." Her ship surged forward, weaving through a hailstorm of enemy fire. With a precise shot, she launched a swarm of microdrones, that latched onto the dreadnought's hull, burrowing deep into its systems. Explosions rippled along the giant ship's surface as the drones triggered internal detonations. The dreadnought shuddered violently. Alarms screamed across its decks. Vega's gamble had paid off. Dreadnought disabled. The Odyssey's comms crackled with disbelief. But the victory was bittersweet. Vega's ship took a devastating hit in the escape, her engines flickering dangerously. The young pilot fought to maintain control, her heart pounding like a drum. "Mayday! Mayday! Systems failing," she called out. "I'm not making it back." Commander Reese clenched her jaw. "Hold on, Vega. We're coming for you." The Odyssey and several escorts broke formation, diving into the enemy fire to rescue the struggling scout. Explosions blossomed around them like deadly flowers, and every second felt like an eternity. In the chaos, Ray's mind raced. The galaxy had laughed at their small ships, but now, those tiny vessels were turning the tide of battle. The humans were no longer just survivors. They were a reckoning. Amidst the carnage, a mysterious figure watched from the shadows aboard the Odyssey, the fleet's engineer, a genius known only as Cade. He smiled faintly, fingers dancing across a console that hummed with hidden power. "This is only the beginning," Cade murmured. "Let the galaxy see what humans can do." As the rescued ships regrouped, the alien armada faltered for the first time. Their confidence cracked, replaced by fear and confusion. The invincible giants had been wounded by scrappy underdogs. Commander Reese issued the order, "Push forward, strike at their command center." The fleet surged onward, hearts ablaze with hope and defiance. In the dim glow of the Odyssey's engineering bay, a soft hum filled the air. The room was cluttered with strange devices, wires snaking like vines, panels flickering with indecipherable codes, and blueprints covered in human symbols no alien had ever seen before. Cade, the fleet's enigmatic engineer, stood at the center, his eyes gleaming with a mixture of excitement and resolve. "This changes everything," he muttered, as he activated a small console. The device pulsed with an otherworldly energy, a technology unlike anything in the galaxy. On the bridge, Commander Reese watched as the readings came in. "Explain what this is," she demanded, her voice steady but curious. Cade smiled, his fingers tracing invisible patterns in the air. "Gravity manipulation. We've reverse-engineered a way to bend gravity fields around our ships, making them nearly invisible to sensors and giving us new weapons. Energy pulses that disrupt enemy shields and systems." The Council's laughter had been premature. What the galaxy failed to grasp was that humanity's strength wasn't just in numbers or firepower. It was in their innovation and adaptability. The small ships that once seemed fragile were now cloaked in shadows, invisible to enemy radars, their weapons striking with unprecedented precision. As word of the new technology spread through the human fleet, hope surged like wildfire. Ships once vulnerable were now shadows slipping through enemy lines, striking at vital points with surgical precision. Meanwhile, the alien armada scrambled to understand what was happening. Their vast sensor networks faltered, unable to detect the stealth ships weaving through their formations. Panic rippled among their commanders. "How do they do this?" An alien admiral snarled. "We must find their weakness." But every probe sent to investigate returned scrambled or destroyed. The human's secret weapon remained elusive. Amid the chaos, alliances began to shift. Smaller alien races, long oppressed and overlooked by the empires, started reaching out to the humans, seeing in their technology and spirit a chance for freedom. Commander Reese seized the moment. She sent emissaries to these rebel factions, negotiating in the shadows, forging alliances that would tip the scales of power. But with every victory came a shadow of danger. Alien spies infiltrated human lines, seeking to steal the secrets of the gravity device. Ray's knew betrayal lurked close, but she trusted in her crew's loyalty and cunning. One night, as the Odyssey drifted near a dying star, Cade approached Reese with a grim expression. "There's more," he said quietly. "The device's core is powered by an energy source we barely understand. It's unstable, but incredibly powerful. If weaponized fully, it could turn the tide of war or destroy us all." Reyes studied the engineer's face. The stakes had never been higher. Then we must control it, before it controls us. Far from the human fleet, whispers echoed through the corridors of power. The Galactic Council, shaken and fearful, debated their next move. Some argued for peace, others for total war. The galaxy was at a crossroads. And humanity stood at the center, their small ships cloaked in mystery and power, ready to ignite a revolution that no one could stop. The galaxy trembled on the brink of chaos. The fragile alliances forged in whispers began to crack under the pressure of looming war. Across the void, fleets amassed, preparing for a conflict that would reshape the stars forever. Commander Reyes stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, her jaw clenched as reports flooded in. The alien armada, desperate to regain control, launched relentless attacks on human supply lines and outposts. Their vast resources threatened to choke the rebellion before it could ignite. Yet, the humans were far from defeated. Thanks to Cade's gravity manipulation technology, their small ships danced through the void like shadows, untouchable and lethal. But the strain was evident. The crew's faces showed fatigue, the weight of endless battle etched deep in their eyes. Supplies dwindled, repairs piled up, and every mission risked being the last. In the heart of the Odyssey, a new threat emerged, not from outside, but within. The intelligence division uncovered disturbing evidence, a traitor embedded in the fleet, feeding information to the enemy. Whispers of sabotage and betrayal sowed distrust among the crew. Reyes knew the cost of failure. "We cannot fight an enemy we cannot see," she said gravely during a tense council of officers. "Find the traitor before they find us." Meanwhile, in a shadowy corner of the galaxy, the alien council convened. Fear turned to rage. The destruction of their warp gates, the collapse of their sensor networks. Human ingenuity had struck at the very heart of their empire. A brutal plan was forged, a massive assault on the human homeworld, Earth, the cradle of the species. If humanity's core was destroyed, the rebellion would crumble. But Earth was prepared. Centuries of technological advancement and military strategy had transformed it into a fortress. Orbital defenses bristled with weapons capable of turning the tide. Back on the Odyssey, Reyes stared at a holographic star map. The assault was inevitable. "We'll make our stand here," she said, her voice steely. "For Earth, for humanity." Suddenly, alarms blared. The traitor had struck. Critical systems on the ship were sabotaged, causing power failures and weapon malfunctions. Chaos erupted as engineers scrambled to contain the damage. Reyes fought to keep calm. "Damage control teams, report. We're not going down today." Through the smoke and sparks, Lieutenant Vega reappeared, her scout ship barely limping but alive. "Got your back, Commander," she said, determination shining in her eyes. The fleet rallied, pushing through the crisis with grim resolve. As Earth's defenses activated, the first wave of the alien assault thundered through the atmosphere, lighting the skies with fire. Space battles erupted in orbit, a chaotic dance of destruction and hope. In the midst of war's fury, Reyes received a cryptic message from Cade. "The device is unstable. We can use it as a weapon, but at great risk." The choice was clear: unleash a power that could save humanity or risk annihilation. Reyes made her decision. "This is humanity's reckoning," she declared. "We fight not just to survive, but to win." The galaxy watched as the small ships, once mocked and dismissed, prepared to unleash a storm no one would forget. The skies above Earth burned with fire and fury. Alien warships carved through the atmosphere, their immense forms casting shadows over cities braced for annihilation. The planet's orbital defenses unleashed torrents of energy, each blast lighting up the void like a supernova. Yet the invaders pressed relentlessly onward. Aboard the Odyssey, Commander Reyes stood resolute. The gravity manipulation device hummed ominously, its core glowing brighter with every passing moment. The risk of deploying it weighed heavily on her mind, but there was no turning back now. "Prepare the device for activation," Reyes ordered, her voice steady but tinged with urgency. "This gambit could save us, or destroy us all." Cade worked feverishly in the engineering bay, his fingers flying over the controls. Sweat dripped down his brow as he calibrated the unstable energy source powering the device. Core stability at 60%, Cade reported, eyes flickering between displays. We can do this, but only once. Back on the bridge, the crew braced for impact. The alien flagship loomed large in the viewport, its weapons primed to deliver a devastating blow. Weapons ready, the tactical officer announced, shields holding at 40%. Steady, Reese commanded. We're about to change the rules of this war. The Odyssey surged forward, weaving through a storm of plasma fire. At the last moment, Reese gave the order. Activate the gravity pulse. A pulse of raw energy erupted from the ship, warping space itself. The shockwave rippled outward, distorting the fabric of reality. Alien ships faltered, caught in the invisible grip of warped gravity. Systems overloaded, weapons faltered, and engines stalled. Chaos exploded across the battlefield as the human fleet pressed their advantage, striking with relentless fury. But the pulse came at a price. The Odyssey shuddered violently, the unstable energy wreaking havoc on its systems. Alarms screamed, and power flickered in a deadly dance. Cade shouted over the din, "We're losing containment. The core is destabilizing." Reyes gritted her teeth. "Evacuate non-essential personnel. Prepare for emergency shutdown." As the ship teetered on the brink of destruction, Vega piloted her scout ship into position, ready to assist. In the heart of the chaos, a mysterious transmission crackled through the comms, a voice cloaked in static, speaking a language unfamiliar yet hauntingly familiar. "Humans, you have awakened forces beyond your reckoning." The message was cut short, leaving a chilling silence. Reyes exchanged a glance with Cade. The battle was far from over. As the Odyssey limped away from the battlefield, battered but alive, the galaxy held its breath. Humanity had unleashed a power that could reshake the war, but at what cost? The reckoning was only beginning. The battered Odyssey drifted through the star-streaked void, the scars of battle etched deep into its hull. Inside, the crew moved with quiet urgency, tending to wounded systems and nursing weary bodies. Yet beneath the surface of relief, a darker threat brewed, one that could unravel everything they had fought for. Commander Reyes stood in the war room, her eyes scanning the data flooding in from across the fleet. The alien assault had been slowed, but the cost was staggering. Lives lost, ships destroyed, and the deadly truth of the traitor still loomed. "We're no longer just fighting the aliens," Reyes said, her voice cold with determination. "There's a shadow within our ranks." The council of officers exchanged uneasy glances. Trust was fragile. Suspicion was a poison spreading through the fleet. Meanwhile, deep within the Odyssey systems, a silent saboteur worked with ruthless efficiency. Lines of corrupted code wound their way through the ship's network, bypassing security protocols, gathering secrets, and relaying them to an unknown enemy. Cade, the engineer, hunched over his console, tracing the breach. "They're sophisticated," he muttered. "Someone who knows us, knows our technology." As Reyes moved to confront the threat, a sudden explosion rocked the ship. Emergency lights bathed the corridors in crimson as systems failed. "Contain the damage," Reyes ordered, her voice unwavering despite the chaos. In the midst of the turmoil, Lieutenant Vega uncovered a critical clue, a data fragment hidden within the corrupted code. It pointed to a shocking revelation. A human faction, long thought loyal, had been secretly negotiating with the alien council. Betrayal ran deep. Reyes gathered the officers. "We must root out the traitors before they destroy us from within." The hunt was on. But the saboteurs were cunning, striking from the shadows, leaving false trails, and sowing discord. As tensions escalated, Reyes received a cryptic message from an unexpected source, a high-ranking alien rebel who had switched sides, offering vital intelligence. "They fear what we've become," the message read, "but they underestimate the cost of their treachery." With this new alliance, the humans gained a powerful edge. Plans were drawn to strike at the heart of the alien empire's leadership, an audacious gamble to end the war. Yet even as hope flickered, the traitor's final move unfolded, a catastrophic sabotage that threatened to cripple the entire fleet. Reyes faced an impossible choice: expose the traitor and risk fracturing the fragile unity, or conceal the betrayal and fight on, blind to the enemy within. Her decision would shake the fate of humanity's reckoning. The final battle loomed like a storm on the horizon. Earth's orbit was a battlefield ablaze with fire and fury, a crucible where humanity's fate would be decided. Commander Reyes stood tall on the bridge of the Odyssey, her gaze steady as she prepared for the decisive strike. The traitor had been revealed, a high-ranking officer whose betrayal nearly shattered the fleet's unity. Yet, even in their treachery, they had been outmatched by the indomitable spirit of humanity. "We move at dawn," Reyes announced, her voice carrying the weight of countless sacrifices. "This is our last chance to end the war." Under the cover of darkness, the human fleet assembled, cloaked in the shadow of Cade's gravity manipulation technology. The small ships that once drew scorn now sailed like ghosts through the alien armada, silent harbingers of destruction. As the flagship of the alien empire emerged, massive and menacing, the humans struck with precision. Gravity pulses warped space around the enemy vessels, disabling their weapons and crippling their shields. Explosions blossomed across the alien formation as the humans closed in, relentless and unyielding. In the chaos, Reyes and Cade led a daring boarding mission onto the alien flagship. Their goal: to confront the alien council and end the war at its source. Inside the labyrinthine corridors, tension crackled. The alien leaders, arrogant and dismissive, awaited them. But humanity's fury was a force they had never reckoned with. A fierce battle erupted, steel clashing against alien technology. Reyes fought with the strength of desperation and hope intertwined. At the climax, Cade activated a concealed device, a compact gravity core capable of disrupting the alien council's command network. With a surge of energy, the alien leaders' systems collapsed, leaving them vulnerable. The rebellion sparked by the humans was unstoppable. As the alien council fell, a transmission echoed across the galaxy, humanity's message of unity and strength. But then, an unexpected twist. The cryptic transmission from earlier returned, clearer now. The mysterious voice revealed itself, not as an enemy, but as an ancient, unseen intelligence watching over the galaxy. "You have awakened forces beyond your understanding," it said. "Your reckoning is only the beginning." The galaxy held its breath. Humanity had won the battle, but the war for the future of the stars was far from over. Commander Reyes looked out at the stars, a new resolve burning in her eyes. "We are small," she whispered, "but we are the reckoning." And with that, the humans set their course toward the unknown, ready to face whatever awaited beyond the horizon.